I know that feeling all too well. You scroll through endless listings, see a sleek mini PC that promises powerful performance in a tiny package, add it to your cart, and then when it finally arrives the size seems right but the actual experience falls short. The disappointment comes from buying a product that looks great on paper but doesn't match the day-to-day needs you have. That's why I'm breaking down the HP Elite Mini 800 MFF desktop, so you can avoid the guesswork before you hit buy. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the environment this machine is meant for. The Elite Mini is aimed at small office or home office users who need a workstation that won't dominate the desk real estate. Think of a consulting firm that wants each employee to have a capable PC without a tower taking up space, or a freelancer who wants a clean work surface for dual monitors and a laptop dock. The 20-core i7-14700 chip, paired with 16 GB of DDR5 RAM and a 1 TB PCIe SSD, gives it enough horsepower for typical office suites, web browsing, video conferencing, and even moderate content creation. It's not a gaming rig, but for the tasks most professionals tackle daily, it's more than adequate. One of the first practical questions I asked myself was, will this fit into my current setup without a massive overhaul? The answer is largely yes. The Mini's footprint is about the size of a thick book, so it slides under a standing desk, onto a shelf, or even into a tight cubby. The dual DisplayPort outputs let you run 2 full HD monitors, and the third display option comes from the integrated Intel UHD 770 graphics, which can handle a third monitor at a lower resolution if you need extra screen real estate for email or chat windows. For me, that meant I could keep my primary 27-inch monitor for design work, add a 24-inch for email and Slack, and still have a small tablet-sized display for reference material without adding a separate docking station. Connectivity is another area where the Elite Mini shines for the business crowd. Wi-Fi 6, 2x2, and Bluetooth 5.2 give you fast, reliable wireless links, which is essential when you're moving between conference rooms or working from home where the router might be a few rooms away. The built-in Ethernet port wasn't highlighted in the spec sheet, but the Mini does include a standard RJ45 jack, so if you need a hardwired connection for low-latency video calls, you're covered. The inclusion of a keyboard out of the box saves a small but noticeable expense, especially for companies outfitting multiple desks, though you'll still need to supply your own mouse, a minor inconvenience unless you were counting on a complete peripheral bundle. Now, let's talk about what the Elite Mini doesn't do as well. The integrated Intel UHD 770 graphics are fine for spreadsheets, PowerPoint decks, and light photo editing, but they'll struggle with anything that requires dedicated GPU acceleration, think 3D modeling, high-resolution video rendering, or even the occasional modern game. If your workflow leans heavily on Photoshop's GPU-enhanced filters or you regularly edit 4K footage, you'll hit performance ceilings quickly. The machine also has limited internal expandability. The MFF Microflex chassis is designed for thinness, which means you can't easily add a second SSD or a discrete graphics card without opening the unit and possibly voiding the warranty. For most office scenarios that's not a deal breaker, but it's worth noting if you anticipate growth beyond the 1 TB SSD. Another hidden trade-off is thermal management. Because the case is so compact, the fans run at higher RPMs to keep the i7 cool under load. In a quiet office, you'll notice a low-level whine during extended spreadsheet crunches or when you're on a long video call with the camera on. It's not a deafening roar, but if you're used to a completely silent environment, you might find it a subtle distraction. On the flip side, that active cooling does mean the machine stays within safe temperature ranges, preventing the throttling you sometimes see in other small form-factor PCs when they overheat. So, who should walk away from this review with a skip-it decision? If you're a gamer, a video editor who relies on GPU acceleration, or a developer who needs multiple GPUs for AI model training, this isn't the machine for you. The lack of dedicated graphics and limited upgrade paths will bottleneck you sooner rather than later. Similarly, if you're on a shoestring budget and can stretch to a larger tower that offers more RAM slots, extra storage bays, and a better cooling solution, you might get more bang for your buck elsewhere. Conversely, the Elite Mini is a solid fit for a specific slice of buyers. Small businesses that need a standardized desktop for each employee, remote workers who want a tidy desk without sacrificing performance, and IT departments looking for a device that can be centrally managed with Windows 11 Pro and Office 365 pre-installed will find value here. The inclusion of Windows 11 Pro out of the box simplifies the rollout process. You get BitLocker encryption, remote desktop capabilities, and the ability